Thanks for sticking with us. We've been buzzing about finally seeing 2020 behind us and what's up next with Dr. Marissa Richmond. And now joining us to continue the conversation is Steven Adair from Glendale United Methodist Church. Great to have you with us, Steven. Good to see you.
Great to be here again.
Cool. Thank you so very much. We thought we would sort of shift focus a little bit from politics and whatnot and sort of focus on faith and how you guys have been sort of dealing with this pandemic. But I do want to start with the same question that Pam left for us. She's not able to be here with us tonight, but she wanted to know how everyone was sort of dealing with their pandemic stress. Have you developed any new habits, new hobbies, anything of interest?
Yeah, well, first off, eating too much. I think that we can identify with that. No, in all seriousness, so I play on Hot Mess Sports League here in Nashville. We were very fortunate enough to be able to actually start playing again after quite a long break through this last year. So we got to play kickball this last fall. So that was really nice to come together on Sundays and do that again. And in a safe way. So they put all those procedures into place, of course. But another big thing, and probably the topic here for this time is being in the sanctuary at my church, which is Glendale United Methodist, every Sunday. And then, of course, finding ways throughout the week to get out of the house, to go do something over there, to clean something up or decorate.
Finding that excuse to get out and do something, whatever it is a big one. And to your credit, yes, I missed Hot Mess. I played for a little while, and it is fun. And I did see some folks out playing, and we were going to go catch a game, and it just didn't end up working out. But I'm so glad to see that they were able to continue doing a little bit in the fall. Have you accomplished anything new? Again, Pam's not here, but she begged me to remind everyone or let them know that she learned CPR in the last few weeks during this pandemic. And I'm like, well, I don't think we can all aspire to such levels, but anything new that you've accomplished or created in the last few months?
I think probably the big thing is, since we're all at home, we've actually, I don't know what month it was during the pandemic. We got the house painted outside. We've done landscaping in the back. So it's really, we've just kind of focused since we're here so much.
Yeah.
My partner actually has transitioned from school or doing graduate school virtually. And then I'm working from home. So there's just a lot of home time here all the time with both of us. So might as well make it as nice as possible. I'm so
sort of jealous to hear you say that, because I wish I had that drive. I've been in my home for 15 years, and after a while, sort of that excitement of creating and painting goes away. So I've not done nearly as much of that. But you give me credit, or you give me a good excuse to get started again. So how has, you mentioned earlier, and we've all seen sort of the ups and downs as far as coverage goes with people being able to attend church, new ways to go to church, new ways to attend Sunday school. My partner's parents, who were staunch, in-person people, have begun to enjoy the benefit of being able to go to Sunday school remotely. How has your faith helped, and what have you seen the church, in particular yours, and even outside of your church or your denomination even, how have you seen them dealing with things and sort of going into this new year of 2021?
Yeah, so I actually work for the denomination, and my team at United Methodist Communications actually helps local churches do marketing and communications. So you can imagine that when the pandemic hit and it's a shift from stop meeting in person in the sanctuary on Sunday mornings, that's quite an issue for most of our churches, especially a lot of them, and this is probably across denominations, that had to shift or learn or do things way differently than they had always done them before. So I've seen a lot of innovation from churches that probably wouldn't have done some of these things, like live streaming or even recording services or whatnot, for another 10 years if it was on their own. However, this has forced them into it. I think, a lot of our churches across the board probably still are struggling with that, or especially if the ones that have older congregations and making sure that their congregation members are connected or whatnot. But I've just seen a lot of excitement in the ability to even reach new people that you would have never reached before, because we've all been forced into this virtual space. Luckily at Glendale, we've been doing live stream worship for some years, but I will say, even a church that's been doing it for years, we had to upgrade our equipment, because you just don't think of the sound and the technical stuff, that when everybody's watching, it's so much more important for it to be a better experience for everyone. I think some churches have really struggled with the whole in-person versus, people wanting to come back into the sanctuary. And that's been kind of a divide in a way, depending on which side you sit on. I'm lucky at Glendale. our people are just fine just sitting at home watching from the comfort of their own home and aren't pushing to be back in the sanctuary yesterday. But I have heard struggles of other churches that the people are angry and upset that churches aren't open for business as usual.
Well, and I thank you for addressing that at the end there, because I was going to ask, it seems as though you guys have been able to be successfully still open and still having a congregation be involved, and maybe some smaller churches, as you even mentioned, might have more difficulty doing that. But there's no substitute for being there in person. But clearly, there is a way to continue on without having to endanger the members, right? I mean, that's just, you've proven it. I mean, as have many other churches.
Yeah.
So it just seems odd that so many others would find it sort of a hindrance in a way.
I think our call, especially as United Methodists, our call is to do no harm. That's one of our 3 simple rules from John Wesley. I think that as Christians across the board, like, we're supposed to, help one another, keep each other safe. And I think when people put a traditional view of we have to be in that sanctuary to worship God, do that, then something's wrong, or we're not being able to do what we want to do. It just puts us at risk. It puts each other at risk, and that just makes really no sense to me. And churches still can thrive outside of the sanctuary. Like, I think one of our phrases back in the day was, churches outside of the building or churches out of the walls. I don't remember. That's not exactly right, but but happen anywhere. And right. I wish more churches kind of take that on and run with it a little bit better. I mean, we're reaching people at Glendale in different countries that are tuning into worship that would have never done that before, probably, and people outside the community that are even tithing to the church because they found this church community home, and it's mainly because we're inclusive and affirming. That's happened, and I see that people in kind of more rural areas don't have churches, even if they were physically able to be there on a Sunday morning, that would welcome and love them for just who they are.
Well, I hate to just cut you off, because I mean, this is we could talk about this forever. And poor Chuck didn't get to speak much during this segment, but I know he's planning to do a full show kind of devoted to religion and sort of post-pandemic world coming up. So we'll definitely have more time to talk later. But I've got to get out of here right now. We got to go to commercial break. Thank you so very much, and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our guest and this week's Entertainment Outlook after the break.